Well, a few people have asked me since I posted that I'm changing jobs why I'm leaving Decker. And rather than just type everything out, I'll explain it real simple. Decker's a good company to work for. I hated quitting. I really did. I was making good money, a lot of miles, 3,500 miles a week or more. My last week I worked 4,800 miles. I put 95,000 miles on their truck in 8 months. So that's good miles, good loads, good money. And you get paid empty or loaded. And most of it was refrigerated loads. Some of it was dry, but most of it was refrigerated. Meat, a lot of meat out of Tyson plants and stuff like that, going to grocery warehouses. Ran all the states except for 10 in 8 months. The only states I didn't hit was New England, New Jersey, New York, and Florida, which I don't want to go to the East Coast anyways, don't even part of that. I got close. I went over to Harrisburg and made a delivery, and then into Baltimore and picked up a load going back out west. But that was as close to the East Coast as I want to get. And don't care if I never go back to Baltimore. So the reason I'm leaving, they have some policies that I don't care for very much. One of them is you're only allowed one truck wash a month. It doesn't matter how dirty it is. Even after I hit a deer and had dried blood and guts on the side of my truck, they would not let me get it washed because I wasn't a month up yet. I wasn't up for a wash yet. So I went and got it washed and paid for it myself out of my own pocket because I couldn't stand driving it like that. Every time I getting in, there's blood and guts all over the side of it. And I explained that to them, and she said, no, they don't make any exceptions. So that's one policy I'm not crazy about. They have a one-touch policy on your phone. You can only touch your phone one time. And they got the inward watching cameras babysitting you 24 hours a day. And if they catch you touching your phone more than once, you get a nasty gram from safety. I know a driver that was put on probation because of that. And I explained to the girl that sent me a message about it. It's impossible. It's a stupid policy. Number one, I have to tap my phone 2 times to wake it up. Then a third time to scroll up so I can see my icons, and then a fourth time to open my app for my navigation. So you can't do it with one touch. It's stupid. It's ridiculous. And they don't mind us playing with the computer in the truck when dispatch sends us messages and we have to answer them, which says, well, technically you're supposed to pull over on the side of the road to do that. I said, if I pull over on the side of the road, every time I get a message from dispatch to read it and answer it, I won't ever get anywhere. I'll be parked all the time. So that's another little nitpicking one that kind of bothered me. Minor shit, I know, but nevertheless, all this stuff piles up, until it's a big stack of crap. And then the system on the truck is my biggest one. The Bendix Smart Drive system, they call it. I call it the dumb drive system. Our safety man got sucked into this system by Bendix and put it on our trucks, and it's the insurance industry that crams it down their throats because then they give them a reduced rate for having it on there. And it's an anti-collision, and it's supposed to, when it picks up a car in front of you, it starts beeping. And it beeps. You can't keep cars from out in front of you, going through Chicago, St. Louis, Kansas City, any place like that. So that thing beeps 11 hours a day. The only time it never beeped when it was out in Wyoming and Montana on the freeways. You get into Seattle, same thing. And I just got so tired of listening to that. I had earplugs in all the time when I was driving, which is no good because now I can't hear my nav system. I can't hear other things on the truck that I should be able to hear. Air leaks, problems under the hood, something making noise. And they say they can't turn it down, which I don't believe. And I called them a liar on it because I said, with these computerized trucks, this is a 2020 Peterbilt, they can do anything with these trucks if they want to with those computers. So they can turn it down. And I've talked to other drivers who have the system in their trucks, and their company lets them turn that volume down. But the worst part of that system is, if it thinks you're not paying attention and not slowing down fast enough, it'll slam on the brakes without any control from you. Boom, just like that. And it did it to me going through Denver in a snowstorm, and there was nobody in front of me or around me, and the radar on the front gets covered with snow and ice, and it malfunctions. It starts acting really weird. And I reviewed my dash cam video a number of times, and I'm quite certain that the camera picked up the overpass that I was coming up to. I'm going to go under. and it slammed on the brakes on the snow and slippery roads. And my trailer started to go sideways, and I thought I was going to jackknife, but I got it straightened out. If there had been a car beside me, my trailer would have hit him. And I just blew a gasket. And I had the camera rolling, and I let the expletives fly, and I called them everything, safety department, Bendix, all them people at Decker. And then I posted that video on the Facebook page, their Decker Facebook page, which did not make them very happy. They took it down. About 85 people saw it, and the moderator said that somebody asked him to ask me if he could take it down. I said, it's your page. You want to take it down? Take it down. I don't care. I think I got my point across. But nevertheless, they were not happy about that. But it's a garbage system, and it needs to be, what do you call it? Shut off, so that it's not working until they get the bugs work out of it. And they say they're working with Bendix on it to try and get it straightened out. But until then, it's a pain to put up with. And I know I told the safety man when I met with him Thursday before I quit, that you mark my words, somebody is going to get hurt real bad because of this system. And when they do, Decker's going to get sued, Bendix is going to get sued, and when the insurance company has to pay out a big lawsuit, the insurance company is going to come to you and say, you know what, we don't think that stuff's so safe anymore. Get that crap off your trucks. You mark my words. He says, that'll never happen. I says, okay, that's fine. So when we got all done, he says, so are we good? And I says, no, actually we're not. I'm done. He said, done? I said, yeah, done as in quitting. I'm renting a car, cleaning out the truck, and going home. So that was it. I was done. And I'm not sorry. I am sort of sorry I quit. Decker, like I said, Decker is a good company to work for, and I did like working for him. And my driver manager, he ran me like crazy. He kept me busy. I got a lot of miles. Well, I said 95,000 in 8 months I put on that new Peterbilt. So, but I don't know. I couldn't put up with it anymore. It got to the point where I just couldn't take that beeping and that slamming on the brakes. Those were the biggest things. I got to the point where I didn't even care if they were watching me on the camera anymore inside the truck. At night, or when you park, you can hang your hat on it covered up, but going down the road, you're not allowed to cover it up because I put tape over it, and I got a nasty gram from safety that you cannot have that camera blocked, blah, blah, blah. So I had to take the tape back off it. And then I yell at it all the time, and they say, oh, they don't listen to the audio, they only review the video. Yeah, right. And I'll tell you, I told them exactly what I thought of it. So that's what I'm looking at. I'm looking at companies that don't have that anti-collision system, that don't have their trucks governed at 65 miles an hour, that I can get down the road and make some time when I'm out there in speed limits that are 75 and 80 miles an hour, and the ones that don't have the cameras on the inside. And there's a lot of them out there that do not have that. I've been talking to them, and they don't have that stuff on there. And drivers hate it. All the drivers hated that. You should have seen the comments after I posted that video of the other drivers that hate that anti-collision system and that beeping, constant beeping all the time, all day long. I'd be on the phone with my wife. She said, what is that beeping? My God, it's driving me nuts. Can you turn it off? I said, honey, I can't. It's the stupid anti-collision system on here. There's cars in front of me. I can't turn it off. So that's the reason I left them, and I'm looking at other companies. So I guess that explains it all pretty much. And I'm sticking with the reefers. I want to pull reefer trailers. I like the reefer loads and like doing the reefer. So with the meat and the food products and everything, I figure I'll never be out of work. I don't care what happens. COVID, recession, you name it. People are still going to eat. So I'll be busy. There's no two ways about it. So I'm hoping to get out with somebody within the next week or two. I'm scheduled to go to orientation with one company that I've been talking to down in Kansas City, or Oklahoma City. And they'll pay for a rental car for me to drive down there. It's 950 miles. It's only a 2-day orientation. Then you're in a truck, you got to load, and you're gone. Got to do a drug test when I get there, no big deal there. I got my physicals up to date. They've got a copy of my medical card. So I'm going to see what this other company I'm going to talk to tomorrow in Minnesota, Eagan, Minnesota, outside of Minneapolis. I'm going to talk to them. They've been in business since 1935. I'm going to talk to them about all these things I got written down, all these questions, and see. Now, the place I went down to, Delphus, Ohio, and talked to them, they don't have refrigerators in their trucks. You have to buy your own, and they don't pay toll roads, so that's no good. And they weren't even sure if they could get me into an automatic transmission truck. So I said, I'm not going backwards. I'm not going back to grinding gears. So I scratched them off, told them, thank you, but no thank you. So that's where I stand right now. And I've been home a week and 2 days. I'm getting ready to go back to work. I'm antsy. I want to get moving again and making money. So I'll see how it plays out this week when I talk to these people and what happens. I may end up in Kansas City, may end up in Minnesota, may end up with some other company. I have no idea. But for those of you who are wondering why I'm leaving Decker, that's the explanation. Hope that makes it clear. Any questions? Message me. I'd be glad to answer them.